Hello YouTube. This is going to be a video on a number of things, but I guess I'll start it out talking about Glenn Beck. And first of all, I want to state that obviously I do support Glenn Beck's free speech rights. I'm not condemning Beck as far as I think he should have the right to speak, say his opinion, express himself, and whatever nonsense it is that he thinks. This video, in other words, is not on me condemning or being critical of him being able to say what he wants, or anyone else being able to say what they want on the right or left. And I think that it is important, or should be important rather, that everyone comes together and everyone stands behind the nation's constitutional rights and free speech and the free speech movement in America. That can also be thanks largely to young liberal hippies like me back in the 60s at campuses like Berkeley and places where, we would hold free speech demonstrations. And in some cases, what we would say would not even be political. It would simply just be loudly yelling out profanity. A minute. But it might be just loudly yelling out profanities even. And of course, you had your Love-ins, you had the anti-Vietnam protesters, burning draft cards, all of that stuff that Republicans have always and still do hate. And it just doesn't end. Finally. You don't fucking stay that way. Alright, listen. Anyways, all that shit that Republicans hate, you can thank us for your free speech movement, but I do think it's important to remind people that there's like a number of other people on the right that claim to now care about free speech. And we're seeing this with the left wing too, who has become vastly and increasingly radicalized, and who are themselves becoming anything but liberal. You're seeing this with the left wing, but you've also have seen this with the right wing, because it was not that long ago, and it doesn't take someone with a great memory to fucking remember that Glenn Beck was against Alex Jones even. And again, for all the issues I have with Alex Jones, he was the one that threw a tantrum. Glenn Beck threw a tantrum when Alex Jones went to Fox Studios for interviews. I remember that for an interview. When Glenn Beck had his show on Fox television, he was still doing pretty good. He didn't even want Alex Jones to be there, in part because of jealousy, probably because he knew Alex Jones slowly but surely was surpassing him in ratings and views. But beyond that, or he was getting more viewers, but beyond that even, it was a free speech issue, because he thought Alex Jones was this crazy libertarian madman, and he was too pro-constitutional and too much for things like free speech, and he would talk about 9/11 and Project for a New American Century and this and that, and he wasn't always pro-police and whatever, and those are things I always give him credit for. In fact, again, I'm about to talk about this, but he even came out against, he has mentioned a few things against circumcision of infants that I am greatly against. To give the man some credit, he has done that, and he has also talked about vaccinations. I support vaccinations, but I do think we have a surplus or an over-vaccinated population. But that's not what this video is about. But I just want to say I think Glenn Beck is largely very hypocritical, like a lot of people on the right wing. Just like the circumcision promoting, leader of the wannabe Jeremy Irons fan club, Jordan Peterson, who told people for years, be mature and responsible and just deal with it almost. And no matter what happens to you, you just have to deal with it. And that was largely his support for genital mutilation of children. And then the motherfucker came out as a pill addict, and he had been taking pills for years. At the same time, he was telling other people to be responsible and to be men and all this shit, and even saying women make men better, and you need to be responsible. Damn. And again, you need to be responsible and all this fucking crazy bullshit. But at the same time he's saying all that, he's on pills. He's a fucking pill addict, because there's hypocrisy there. They're hypocritical. So he's over 40, 50-year-old man, and he's pouring a meat diet, an all meat diet. Okay. Again, not even talking about human rights. Holy shit! Think about the cholesterol on that one. Like, Okay, I'm in over my fuck. I'm getting way too into this way too fast. The point is, the guy's a crook. He's a scam artist. He was a pillhead. He was telling everybody else to be responsible. It's not about him. This is about Glenn Beck. Same thing with this guy. He was against Alex Jones. He also came out and said a Foreskin magazine was a comic book. You know, I know this video is gonna suck, just so you know ahead of time. It's not gonna be as good as some of the other ones I made, where at least I'm kind of laying out my opinion better. But keep in mind, I'm also battling pop-ups, and I don't really have a great idea of what I'm gonna say. So keep that in mind. But he was also against Foreskin magazine, Foreskin Man, that was a comic book against circumcision, and it had nothing. And he tried to condemn that and claim it was anti-Semitic, and it wasn't. Because first of all, the country it's published in is majority, does this for majority not religious. Fuck me, every damn day. Okay, it was published in San Francisco in the United States, largely not fucking religious. Okay, so if they're not doing this for religious reasons, that's not why you do this. He made one issue about Judaism, another issue about another culture doing it, one about female genital mutilation in some other countries, and he was talking about different situations where they practice this. And he tried to run with that one issue of the magazine, take it out of context, and say it was anti-Semitic, and he was largely responsible for the smear campaign against San Francisco when they took up enough votes, they got it on a petition to vote on or to vote for whether or not they should allow genital mutilation of male children or circumcision. Should they allow that? And he was responsible for the smear campaign of that simply because he didn't have a problem with it. And not for religious reasons, because he's not Jewish or Muslim. The only damn reason he supported this shit was because he is. So he did say, oh, well, I support that. He doesn't give a fuck. And don't tell me he gives a fuck about other people's religious rights. He's the same kind of person that is constantly chinning up anti-Islamic bullshit in this country and real Islamophobia or hatred of some Muslims. And the point is, the guy cares about his free speech when it fuck me. Before the pop-ups down. You know, I'm hoping, if anything, maybe this will become funny after a while. There's so many damn pop-ups, you just laugh. Maybe that'll make this video watchable. But the point is, this is gonna suck. Anyways, it's fucking almost 8 minutes in. I'm not starting over. Listen. The point is, he supports. This isn't about circumcision. I need to go get a phone call, and this video sucks anyway, so I'll be back. But this isn't